Hi everyone, welcome back to Make It with Mod Podge. Game day is almost here and I've got the cutest menu board idea to share with you, and my favorite thing about it is you don't even have to know how to do hand lettering because we are printing our menu and hanging it from these little hooks. I've got some napkin decoupage going on our D up here, and I've decoupaged the whole background with some really cute football themed papers. This is so easy to do, so let's just dive right into this project.
I'm using a wood surface, scrapbook paper, some wood embellishments, and of course Mod Podge. The first thing I'm going to do is paint my wood frame and backing with some black paint. This is a multi-surface paint and I am painting the whole entire thing. I think that the Mod Podge and paper goes down best on a painted surface. Then I'm just trimming some football paper to size. I'm going to border the top and the bottom of my frame. So I'm adding Mod Podge to the back of the paper, and then I'm just going to flip it right onto the painted frame and place it right up against that edge, and I'm pressing with my fingers to smooth any of the wrinkles out. Now all of the craft stores have these big giant wood bases or wood frames. So just look around and find one that fits the project that you want to do. Go ahead and piece that together. I did have to use 2 sections of the scrapbook paper to make it fit, but once it's all put together, you don't even notice. And I'm going to do that on the top and across the bottom. So for this part, I just used 1 piece of scrapbook paper. And I'm pressing with my fingers, and I'm not going to top coat yet, but I will top coat this. Then for the bottom section of the frame, I'm saturating a large piece of scrapbook paper, that's the full 12 by 12, with Mod Podge on the back. I'm placing it down, and then I'm really smoothing it with my fingers to get out any air bubbles and to prevent wrinkles. You could use a brayer here, you could use an old credit card, just really smooth that down. Don't worry about that extra Mod Podge that's there. That's going to get covered up, and I'm going to smooth out any that is on the paper. And once this is dry, after about 20 minutes, I'm going to top coat the whole thing with matte Mod Podge. I like to try to go in one direction when I'm doing this so I get really smooth brush strokes. And again, I waited about 20 minutes before top coating, and then I'll just top coat all the parts that have the paper. Okay, next let's do our embellishments, the D and the fence. For the D, I'm going to go ahead and paint it a light creamy color to match the background of the napkin. I'm separating the plies of the napkin. I'm only using that top printed ply, and I'm adding my matte Mod Podge to the top of the letter D. This is just from the craft store. I paid $1 for that letter. Placing the napkin right down on top of it, and I'm smoothing again with my fingers to prevent wrinkles. You could also mist this with a little bit of water, just a light mist, and that helps with wrinkles too. Once it's dry, I like to let it dry a little bit. Go ahead and trim off the excess, and then you can Mod Podge this all the way around the outside edge and to the inside edge. You'll just add a little Mod Podge and wrap that paper napkin as you go. Now for this, I'm doing defense. I hope everybody's getting that joke. Defense, like the football defense. But you could do this same technique for any kind of party, any kind of menu board that you want to make. Wrap it to the back side, and I'm just gluing that down with the Mod Podge. And once that's completely dry, I did add a little top coat to that. Now for our little fence piece, I'm going to cut off the hanger that came with it, and I did lightly paint it with that same cream color just to make sure they were the same color. And I'm going to hot glue that to a little piece of fake grass that I picked up at the dollar store. I just thought that grass was so cute, like a little field. And then we're going to go ahead and glue our D down right next to it. Really simple. Let's just hot glue and go ahead and flip that and get that into position. Now I'm going to hot glue that entire little grass piece to the top of my frame. Now each one of these frames is going to be a little different size, what you can find, so you just have to get creative and take this idea and expand upon it and make it work with whatever your project is. Now my screws are a little bit thicker than the back of my frame board, so I'm going to glue down these wood footballs, and I'm going to use that to create a little bit of depth in my wood surface for adding my screws. The screws are going to be what the menu actually hangs from. So I'm just hot gluing those down, and now I've got my menu. I went ahead and printed this out. I'm going to trim off that white part. Again, you can do this however you want. This is just the way I'm pulling this together. And then I'm laminating mine because this is my go-to Super Bowl menu. Let's go ahead and laminate it. I can use this over and over again. Trim it up a bit, and now we're going to punch a hole on each side. And I'm going to use that hole as my guide for where I want to add my screws. So I'm just marking that there. And then I'm using a little drill bit, a little hand drill to get that hole started. And then I have a couple of very small cup hooks. So I'm going to screw that into one of the footballs, and then working across the way, I will screw a second one in. Then all you have to do is hang your menu from those little cup hooks. So simple, so easy, and this can be customized to any different sporting event or party menu. I love it.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that this has inspired you to set up a really cool game day food display. Now, my only question for you is, what are you going to be serving? For my menu, I went ahead and laminated my menu sheet because this is sort of my go-to menu. But I am curious what is going to be on your table and who are you rooting for? All right, I'll be back here next week with another fun project to share with you. And until then, have a super creative week. Bye.